up next on Sunday Sports Day. With Big Yen on the line, would Wisconsin's Rose Bowl hopes get leveled in the Far East? In the Southeast, the Gators go deep into the heart of Bama. Indiana looks to shake up the hoop polls. The Battle of L.A. produces some casualties, while everyone jumped into the fray in Hartford. In our Sunday conversation, a man who hurt many remembers his biggest pain.
Sat down on the floor of the shower with the shower running over me, drinking my champagne, crying.
The man who helped cause that pain aimed some sharp words at some big names.
They wanted to go to the championship more than really playing against me.
We'll have some probable heroes and some definite goats. We'll put you inside the net as we search for all the best angles next.
Good morning, I'm Dick Schaff, and welcome to Sunday Sports Day, December 5th, 1993. 2 hours of news, views, reviews, and previews, highlights and sidelights, cheers and jeers. In just about an hour, the final college football polls will be announced, and thousands of players, students, and alumni will find out where they'll be celebrating New Year's Eve. Robin Roberts is with us, as usual, to guide us through our opening hour, Sports Weekly. And Robin, we know the West Virginia Mountaineers would much rather dine on stone crab in Miami, but don't you think they're going to have to settle for Cajun cuisine with gator as the main course?
Apparently so, and I know just the right spot in the French Quarter. I think you wanted to take me there when we were there for the Final Four.
Well, there are so many good spots down there that I'm sure if West Virginia and Florida are there, they'll have a good time leading up to the field.
What about Wisconsin? They have a change in taste.
Well, they're going to bring sushi over and eat it at the Rose Bowl.
All right, Dick, we'll check with you throughout the morning. Apparently, sushi wasn't enough for the Badgers. They appeared mighty hungry last night in Japan, and the only thing that was going to satisfy their ravenous appetite was a victory over Michigan State. Wisconsin was up early 3-0. Then Jim Miller goes up top to Mill Coleman, a 33-yard connection. Michigan State on top, 7-3. In the second, 10-7 Wisconsin. Barry Alvarez's team takes control. Terrell Fletcher, monster game. Through the hole and gone. 41 yards, his jersey number, his second score of the night, 24-7 Badgers at the half. Michigan State, a little bit angry. Demetrius Martin, the hit on Lee, famous Doremus. Martin still fired up. Doremus gets revenge. Wisconsin up 10. Perfect fade to Doremus. Wisconsin up 34-17. They go on to win by a final of 41-20. Brent Moss set a school record with his 10th straight 100-yard game. Fletcher also rushed for over 100 yards. Wisconsin and Ohio State finished with identical 6-1-1 conference records, but the Badgers are headed to Pasadena to represent the Big Ten because their Rose Bowl drought is longer, but the drought is over. Now, I don't mean to rain on the Badgers' Rose Bowl parade, but as difficult as it is for them to advance to a bowl game, it's even harder for them to win once they're there. Wisconsin has won only one of their 6 bowl games, that being the Independence Bowl in '82. A berth to the Sugar Bowl on the line as well on Saturday. For the second year in a row, Florida and Alabama battled in the SEC championship game in Birmingham. Alabama's Mr. Everything, David Palmer, all over the place. First quarter, no score. Brian Bergdorf pitches to Palmer, who scrambles, gets it back to Bergdorf for the big gain. That set up a Bama touchdown. Late in the third, Florida up 1. Shane Edge. He keeps it on the fake punt. Goes all the way for the first down. The next play, the Gators go for the knockout punch. Quarterback Terry Dean runs a play action, goes deep to Jack Jackson for 43 yards. Gators win 28-13. I'm coming to join you, honey. 28-13 is the final. The Gators will spend New Year's in New Orleans for the second time in 3 years. Dean completed 20 of 37 passes for 256 yards. Willie Jackson caught 9 passes for 114 yards. The Gators have tasted sugar before, and it's been a bitter taste. 3 trips, 3 losses, the last one in '92 to the Irish. Bino Cook will join us later to try and help us make sense of the bowl picture, or Bino will add to the confusion however you choose to look at it. Late NBA action from last night. The T-Wolves were hoping to extend their team record road winning streak to 4 games. They knew it wouldn't be easy. They travel to Seattle, where the Sonics had yet to lose a game at home this season. They've been perfect at home this season so far. Let's find out what happened between the T-Wolves and the Sonics. Christian Leitner enjoying the Coliseum. Drives to the hoop, scoops and scores. Sonics as impressive, even with the headband. Gary Payton out to Kendall Gill, back to Payton inside, and the hoop. Then Detlef Schrempf. Oh, there's the smash. That's not Detlef Schrempf. Sonics win it, though, by a final of 98-82. That's Gill going strong to the goal. That is the final, 99-82. The T-Wolves held to their lowest point total of the season. Sam Perkins with 22, including the 10,000th point of his career. The Sonics are now 7-0 at home, 13-1 overall. The Battle of L.A. between the Lakers and the Clippers turned into a career night for the Lakers' Doug Christie. He got off to a quick start. The long three-pointer. Another bomb from behind the line. He fakes the three this time, runs by Danny Manning, flips it in for the runner. He finished with a career-high 33 points. Real bad news for the Clippers in the third. Stanley Roberts ruptures his right Achilles tendon. Surgery is set for Monday. He is out for the season. Lakers win at 109-102. As I said, Doug Christie, career-high 33, including 5 threes. Anthony Peeler also with a career-high 28. The Lakers won despite being out-rebounded 54-37. And late action on the ice as well between the Rangers and the Leafs in a battle of division leaders. Canada, she forgot the words. Second period, tied at 1. Wendell Clark right past Mike Richter. 2-1 Leafs. Clark's second goal of the night. He has 25 on the year. Tied at 3 in the third. Mark Messier. Some fancy stick work. Over to Mike Gartner, who scores his 14th. Rangers win by a final of 4-3. Messier with the 800th assist of his career. It's the Rangers' third straight win. The Rangers' third straight win. They now join the Leafs as the only teams with at least 40 points. We certainly are delighted you decided to join us again this Sunday morning. Later, Bill Laimbeer will sit down in our Sunday conversation. Laimbeer won't be throwing his weight around anymore, or his elbows either for that point, as he retired this week from the NBA. Also later, do you believe in miracles? Chants of USA, USA. Heard again in Lake Placid. We'll show you what happened this time. Coming up next, 1 if by land, 2 if by sea. Army launched an attack against Navy. The 94th meeting between these two. Highlight straight ahead.
Diamond Crystal knows there's nothing like pure, clear water. That's why Diamond Crystal makes some of the most advanced water softener salts you can buy. Make your water special with Diamond Crystal.
It's a timepiece. It's a breath spray. The new Breath Spray 9000.
While some watchmakers brag about their new inventions, Loris creates practical watches like the Vector, a digital compass built into a precision chronograph. Stick with Loris, the only time worth keeping.
Hey, up in Watertown, Wisconsin, here's what makes Ace the place.
Our better ideas.
Right now, a 3-pound Golden Flame Fire Log for just 69 cents. Plus, choose from these Ace professional hand tools, only $4.99.
Hey, Ace is America's place for better ideas.
What's the coldest place on Earth? The North Pole? The South Pole? No, it's your home the day your heating goes out.
I think we need help. Fast.
Ruud is ready to solve your heating problems with reliable Ruud products and straight answers. His job's not done until you're comfortable.
Home sweet home.
You can rely on it.
Rely on
Hit it.
If you want to feel the music, you've got to have great speakers. Radio Shack's Optimus speakers can surround you with theater sound, or put a command performance on your bookshelf, in your living room, or on the road. Come audition over 80 speakers that deliver great sound, no matter what kind of music you listen to. Only at Radio Shack, your Christmas electronics store.
Sports Weekly is brought to you by Radio Shack, your Christmas electronics store, and by Ruud Heating and Air Conditioning, you can rely on Rude.
The Commander-in-Chief's trophy on the line, and Navy remembers their fallen ex-teammate. In the fourth quarter, 16-8 Army. Jim Kubiak finds backup tight end Jim Mill for the touchdown. They're back within two. The two-point conversion failed. 16-14 Navy going for the game. The winning field goal, freshman kicker Ryan Buchaneri pushes it wide right, and Army wins 16-14. Army ends their year with a 6-5 record. Navy at 5-6. The Commander-in-Chief trophy goes to Army. Now to the Commander-in-Chief of Sunday Sports Day, Dick Schaap, who as always can't wait to have a little chat with one of his foot soldiers, or is it football soldiers, Bino Cook. So let's go back to Dick in New York. Commander?
Thank you very much, Troop. Bino, you live in Pittsburgh, which was fine when Pitt and Penn State were titans of football, but why don't you move now to West Palm Beach or somewhere like that? Florida State, Miami, Florida, all top 10 teams, all going to major bowl games. Has that ever happened before, one state?
Well, I can't, top of my head, I can't think of it, but it is amazing what's happened in Florida in the last decade, especially with the Miami of Florida. But remember, West Virginia's only 90 miles away, Morgantown, and West Virginia still has a shot at the national title.
That's 90 miles from Pittsburgh, not from Florida.
Yes,
we have to keep that in mind. Tell me about the Auburn factor. The fact that Auburn was included in some of the polls and not in one of the polls, what impact has that had on the bowl picture?
Well, what they've done, and fans don't understand it because they ask me, how can Auburn be in the bowl coalition and not be eligible for a bowl? Well, it's like running for president, I guess, but you weren't born in the United States, you're not eligible. What they should have done is let Auburn be eligible in the coaches poll. And if the coaches wanted to vote for him, okay. But many coaches won't. What would have happened then, instead of doubling the total of points in the Associated Press poll, they would probably finish 18th or 19th if they were included in both polls. People don't understand it. They're in the bowl coalition, and they're not allowed to go.
I don't understand it either. Does that mean that West Virginia would have ended up playing Nebraska in the Orange Bowl?
Not necessarily. Not necessarily.
Possibly? Okay. Tell me your top five.
Okay. Number 5 remains Notre Dame. Number 4 is Auburn. And despite all these postcards from West Virginia asking me why West Virginia can't be number 1, we're making them still number 3. Don't get mad at me. Number 3. Number 2, Florida State. And number 1, Notre Dame. Next year. Nebraska this year.
Okay, thank you, Bino. Remember, you Mountaineers, it's only 90 miles to Bino's home. And now, back to Robin.
All right, gentlemen, coming up, we'll check out how the number 1 team in the land in college hoops, Kentucky, made out against Indiana. Also a bit later, a number of firings and hirings this week. We'll have the details in the Week in Review later. But before we take another time out, here are the rest of Saturday scores. We'll be back in a moment.
If you ever accidentally injured or killed a domestic pet or animal while driving, you know the feeling of guilt, remorse. The emotional trauma can last for weeks. Now from the makers of the Club anti-theft device comes Animal Lover, a revolutionary new space-age product scientifically designed to alert animals through their natural instincts of dangerous approaching vehicles.
Help protect pets and wildlife from harm. Order Animal Lover at the special introductory price of only $59.95. Call 1-800-258-2321 today. Most people think a deadbolt or chain lock provides superior protection against home break-ins. Now, from the makers of the Club anti-theft device comes the Door Club. Able to withstand over 2 tons of force, the Door Club is proven to be more effective than standard deadbolts or chain locks. Give your family the protection they deserve. Install the Door Club today and start feeling safer tonight.
To win, the ultimate high, measured against a loss.
But winning is such a great emotional high. Because losing is kind of like, this is not the proper thing. It's kind of like failing. and it's just a bad feeling.
I take it personally when we lose. I feel that it's my responsibility for us to get into the end zone.
Athletes live this eternal quest. Outside the lines, winning and losing, Friday.
Would it be deja vu all over again in Lake Placid? What is that, a goalie cam? You never see this view. Great kick save. He had 24. USA down 6-5 in the third. Ted Crowley blasts one from the point. It's tipped by a Russian defenseman. We've got a tied game. 3.5 minutes left in the game. Brian Ralston sets up Matt Martin in the slot. It was in and out so quick. USA 7-6. Team USA comes back from 2 goals down in the third to make it 2-0 in their Olympic tune-up against the Russians. The Pins and the Whalers weren't so friendly on the ice last night. On the hardwood, Karl Malone was singing a sweet tune for the Jazz, while the Warriors attempted to go over the 500 mark for the first time this season. A dandy of a game. Off the Derek McKee miss. Watch the moves Billy Owens puts on. The behind-the-back dribble. Then the pull-up J. Big night for Chris Webber as well. Owens feeds Webber underneath for the jam. A career-high 26 for Webber. Warriors win. Alan Bristow could be in for a long night. It was a Karl Malone show. Jeff Malone to the mailman. Muscles his way in for the jam. Show us those biceps. More Malone the second half. Stockton feeds Malone. He had 35 points and 14 rebounds. NHL, Lightnings versus the Kings. Nice Kings passing. Luke Robitaille to Tomas Sandstrom. 4-all tie. Still tied at 4. Lightning on the power play. Chris Joseph to Danton Cole, who one-times it. Lightning win 5-4. A rough game in Hartford. Oh, look at them just go after it. Naslin wants no part of that fight. But Cunneyworth punches him anyway, and then he goes into, didn't he used to play for the Pins? I think he's got a little something for his ex-teammates. Pins don't appreciate this. And Jim Pack grabs at Cunneyworth, and a fracas breaks out. Game tied at 6 in OT. Larry Murphy to Kevin Stevens, who feeds a breaking Yormar Yeager. Breakaway goal beats Jeff Reese. 7-6 Pins. That is the final score. To college hoops, Kentucky took over the top spot in the rankings when North Carolina was upset by UMass last week. Will the Wildcats be the latest upset victim this young college basketball season? It has been a wild one so far. Remind you of the Spider and the Fly. Indiana leads Kentucky early. Another nightmare for Kentucky as Pat Knight beats Damon Bailey. Damon the man with 23 points in the first half. And to think his team is winning. Some advice. Alan Henderson responds. Pat Graham feeds Henderson for the dunk. He finishes with 17 points and 11 rebounds. Indiana upsets Kentucky by a final of 96-84. How about Kansas and DePaul? The first half, all DePaul. Don't think he's excited about being up 10 at the half. Second half, Jayhawks soar. Great Scott Richard gets the hoop and the foul. DePaul steals, can cut it to 3. Not going to happen. Sign of the times. Jayhawks win. BYU at UNC was a monster night for Montross. BYU's Roger Reed had a Montross around his neck. At this point, it was a brick. Stackhouse. Dean's done. Tar Heels win 97-65. Tennessee, Chattanooga, and Michigan. Michigan snake bit by the Moccasins, but still up by 10 at the half. Leon Derrick steals. He misses. But Rose is there. Michigan wins by a final of 97-86. The understated elegance of Duke basketball. Grant Hill to Antonio Lang. It's all blue. Parks department from the interior. Cherokee and Duke went on to win by a final of 82-60. Here are other hoop scores from Saturday. Still to come here on Sunday Sports Day, players have complained about the artificial turf at Veterans Stadium, which has caused quite a few injuries. Chris Mortensen takes a closer look later. Veterans Stadium is no longer home for the Wild Thing. The Phillies traded Mitch Williams. That and more can be found in the Weekend Review next.
It's Wayne's World!
Paramount Pictures presents...
I'm Honey. Horney.
Nice to meet you, Miss Horny.
The sequel you knew was coming.
Would you like to have dinner some night?
Oh, I like to have dinner every night.
It's Wayne.
Check these guys out. If I ever sport a look like these guys, I give you full permission to shoot me in the head.
It's Garth.
Party on.
It's a new movie. Wayne's World 2, rated PG-13, starts Friday, December 10th.
Sure, you've got a car. Got a dog. Even got some fun-loving friends. But have you got what it takes to be a mountain man? All it really takes are the two cool beers of the mountain man. Smooth bush beer and easy drinking bush light. So, be a mountain man. All you gotta do is head for the mountains.
Jim Rome's Glossary Primer, number 108. Milk carton.
Sometimes a professional athlete becomes a professional bench warmer. If he's not on the bench, he's in the box, in the dugout, injured, depressed, oh, whatever. He's not out there. You don't see him all season. He's missing. So logically, if he's missing, he should be on a milk carton.
Watch Rome, speak Rome. Talk 2, phone-in sports talk with a language all its own. Monday through Friday, 10:30 p.m. Eastern on ESPN 2.
Mitch Williams didn't exactly turn in a Hall of Fame performance in the World Series. He didn't even bother to go back to Philly after he gave up a homer to Joe Carter in Game 6 at Skydome. Williams headed directly to Texas. And as Mike Tirico is about to tell us in the Week in Review, Wild Thing will be able to stay in his adopted home state.
Lots of comings and goings this week. Gone, this pitch, and Philly pitcher Mitch Williams.
Here's the pitch on the way. A swing and a belt. Left field, way back. Blue Jays win it.
And Mitch may have lost it. His job, that is. Traded this week to the Astros.
If they traded me because they wanted to trade me and they didn't want me a part of their organization anymore, that's fine. But if they were trading me because they didn't feel I could pitch in Philadelphia anymore because of this, they're wrong.
His new boss has already begun to prepare for life with Mitch.
We've just made some investments into Maalox and to Grecian Formula 44. Mitch has been known to keep managers on the edge of their seats.
Looking to put people into their new stadium seats, Cleveland signed veteran free agent pitcher Dennis Martinez and first baseman Eddie Murray. Gone from the AL East is Oriole infielder Mike Pagliarulo. He said sayonara to the Birds and this hemisphere, for that matter, to play for the Seibu Lions in Japan. Pags is hoping he can be a rising star in the land of the rising sun. Also heading west, but not quite as far, is White Sox outfielder Ellis Burks. He got a Rocky Mountain high this week when he signed with the Colorado Rockies. It was a rocky road, but the NFL is coming to Jacksonville.
It's my pleasure to announce that the membership has selected Jacksonville as the 30th NFL club. This is a win for the Jacksonville community.
Along with the Carolina Panthers, the Jaguars became the latest member of the Cat family to join the league. The Gator Bowl will undergo extensive renovations, and the Jags will play under the lights beginning in 1995. NHL refs are back in the spotlight. Replacement hockey refs were put on ice after the regular NHL officials came in from the cold after scoring a new 4-year collective bargaining agreement. First-year refs will net a $15,000 raise. But some college football coaches got anything but a raise. Wacky doings in the WAC, where the Aztecs were left in ruins when San Diego State fired the entire coaching staff following a 6-6 season. Ted Tollner, ex-LA Rams QB coach and once head coach at Southern Cal, took the commute down the San Diego Freeway and will replace fired San Diego State head coach Al Luganville. Sparky Woods couldn't light a spark under the Gamecocks, so he was let go at South Carolina. And with a 3-7-1 record, this season there was more misery in Missouri than head coach Bob Stoll could handle. He resigned and accepted a job as assistant athletic director. But Tommy Westrow, the Chattanooga Choo-Choo South, to Clemson, where he takes over for Ken Hatfield, who resigned last week. Also going, the Lombardi Award to Notre Dame offensive tackle Aaron Taylor. Aaron's been a starter since his sophomore year. His blocking for the Irish made him tailor-made for being the nation's top college lineman. On the ice, Caps Dale Hunter must not know whether he's coming or going. He's out now 4 to 6 weeks with a knee injury, suffered on this, quote, hit from New York Ranger Alexei Kovalev. Hunter had just returned to the ice after having sat out a 21-game suspension for his hit of Pierre Turgeon during the Stanley Cup playoffs last year. Payne Stewart will be going to the bank. Winning the Skins game, he picked up a cool $280,000, making him the all-time PGA money winner.
Also this week, NASCAR's stars got all cleaned up, put on tuxedos, and headed to the Big Apple for NASCAR's annual Winston Cup Awards banquet, shown live here on ESPN. Dale Earnhardt was, of course, the big winner this racing season, and he picked up a nice bonus check for winning the points title. NASCAR also remembered two drivers who died this year, Alan Kulwicki and Davey Allison.
We were proud to have him. I don't think we never need to forget our fallen heroes, Davey Allison, Alan Kulwicki, Mark Brooks, Dan Duncan, Charlie Campbell, everybody, because we did the reverse victory laps, carried the flags in honor for them, and we meant it from the bottom of our hearts, and we'll miss those guys.
The Detroit Lions received some good news this week concerning Barry Sanders. He may not be missing in action for as long as they first thought. Details in the NFL Weekend Review, that's coming up later. Also, coming up next, Kevin Willis and the Hawks took it to the Rockets on Friday. The NBA Weekend Review is straight ahead.
I don't know why I'm sharing this with you, but you don't have to have an office to buy a computer here at Office Depot. You get expert assistance, all the top brands, including Apple, IBM, Hewlett-Packard, and Toshiba, and a guarantee that you're paying the lowest possible price. So here I am saving money at Office Depot, and I don't even have an office. They don't have to know I'm taking it home.
Buy your computer where businesses buy theirs. Office Depot.
Question: if your cold pill's so good, how come your symptoms keep coming back? Because your pill doesn't work 24 hours. Introducing Effidac 24, the first cold tablet so effective just one works 24 hours. Look, Sudafed drops off after 6 hours, Tavist after 12. So your symptoms keep coming back, but just one Effidac gives consistent relief for 24 hours. So your symptoms don't come back. New 24-hour Effidac keeps cold symptoms from coming back.
Pick up the phone for the latest sports news from ESPN all day, every day.
95 cents per minute. Call 1-900-996-ESPN.
It is time for Face Off, our weekly war of words, wit, and wisdom. And now that the NBA season is a month old, a logical question is, who's taken over for Michael Jordan? Who's the king of the court now? The heir apparent. Is it Charles Barkley of the Phoenix Suns, the reigning MVP? Or is it Akeem Olajuwon of the Houston Rockets, who won their first 15 games? That's the subject of our Face Off today between Bill Conlon, who's sticking with Barkley, even though Barkley no longer gets the Philadelphia Daily News, and Mike Lupica, who risks his friendship with Paul Westphal by opting for the dream. Lupica leads off.
Hey, when you're talking about players of this level, it's not just best player, it's best season. Jordan was still playing last year, and I said Barkley was the best player. Olajuwon has elevated his game in a world where Barkley is still playing at a very high level. He's the best player. Bill, check out the guys he plays with every night. He elevates everybody, which is what guys eventually do to get the notice he's finally getting.
Okay, last year he was the heir apparent. It was him and Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan's gone now. I don't see anybody who can cover this guy one-on-one. He did a great thing with Charlie Rose the other night. He sat there and he said, hey, Jerry West used to tell me that great players feel that they're playing in slow motion. I never related this. Then I started to watch myself on film, and he said, you know, I can't be stopped. Maybe the only guy around that can stop me is a Derek Coleman, somebody like that. Pound for pound, inch for inch. He's going to have the best season, and right now he's the best player in the game.
Olajuwon makes all the other centers, in an incredibly rich time for centers, look like they're playing in slow motion, okay?
He makes David Robinson look like he's playing
Bill,
in slow motion.
You know what? This guy has...
Michael.
Oh, Bill, you probably haven't watched him play 5 times in the pros. He's played his whole career at 20 points a game and 11 rebounds.
This argument is getting very personal. We'll finish it off screen. Back to you, Robin.
Well, Akeem and the Rockets truly faced off Thursday night in the Garden against the New York Knicks. The next night, 2 streaks collided in Atlanta. Chris Fowler now with the NBA Weekend Review.
The Rockets and Hawks were both flying high Friday. Houston riding a 15-game win streak, Atlanta a 9-game binge. A 16th straight W for Houston would have set a league record for most consecutive wins at the start of a season. The streak is dead. Long live the streak. Atlanta 133, Houston 111. The Hawks took their 10th straight behind 28 from Mookie Blaylock and 27 from Dominique Wilkins, who had a word or two for the Atlanta fans following the game.
I was at the barbershop yesterday, get my hair cut, and just to see the, you like that, huh? But to see the people in there that were betting against us. And I'm sitting there like, they must not see me sitting here. I said, you know what, all you guys can lose your money tomorrow, because we're going to get it tomorrow.
The Rockets had tied the record on Thursday in Madison Square Garden against the Knicks. Houston prevailed 94-85, holding New York to 38% from the field. Hakeem Olajuwon dominated Patrick Ewing, outscoring him 20-2 in the second half. Ewing was 4 for 20 from the field. As Motown bid farewell to Bill Laimbeer, they welcomed back another link to the glory days. Isaiah Thomas returned from a broken hand and delivered 26 points and 13 assists in a 102-101 loss to Phoenix. Charles Barkley paced a balanced Suns attack with 21 points, leading 5 Suns in double figures. The Suns fell victim to another returnee Tuesday night. Scottie Pippen had 29 points in Chicago's 132-113 victory. The rematch of last year's finals was marred by 7 technical fouls and 3 ejections. The Bulls scored at least 30 points in each quarter. The Sun star continued to make headlines. Charles Barkley told the Arizona Republic that he would retire after the season. Championship or no championship, said Sir Charles. It's time to move on. The Sonics remain super, winning back-to-back road games in Philly and D.C. Sam Perkins and Sean Kemp combined for 40 points on Tuesday. Thursday, the backcourt took over as Kendall Gill and Gary Payton chipped in 18 each. The Timberwolves won their 3rd straight game Thursday, downing the Warriors 103-91. Christian Laettner had 22 points and 15 rebounds. Michael Williams led the Wolves with 28.
Back to college hoops with a look at how the top 25 women's teams in the land fared on Saturday. Everybody was happy to see Joe Montana back. Well, everybody except the Buffalo Bills. The NFL Week in Review is next.
You are about to experience the extraordinary power of renewal from Rayovac, a new kind of alkaline battery created to be reusable 25 times or more with the Renewal Power Station. Inside, there's a microchip that knows how much power each Renewal battery needs and custom charges it for you. So you get maximum life from every battery with alkaline power in every charge. That's the power of renewal from Rayovac.
Of all the credit cards out there, only one has Smart Rate, now as low as 14.9% and no annual fee. Discover Card. It's a better deal. It pays to discover. This holiday season, while you're shopping, we'll be dropping $5 million in the Discover Card Big Payback. Now, every time you use your card, you're automatically entered in our $5 million sweepstakes. It pays to discover the card with the big payback.
Hey, Ace is a place in Oregon, Illinois, and here's why.
You get more bang for your buck.
Like this Ace 24-piece socket and bid set, just $8.88. Plus stock up on Energizer batteries, all popular sizes.
Hey, Ace is America's place for better values.
At Ford Motor Company, we're already building vehicles that meet California's strict emission standards for the late 90s. We're the first U.S. manufacturer to build a car with CFC-free air conditioning. And we'll soon have a fleet of electric vehicles on the road. For us, designing quality cars and trucks means keeping an eye on the big picture.
At Ford, we understand that the quality of the environment is one of our greatest responsibilities.
Ford Motor Company, quality is job one. It's working.
Clothes for the man comfortable in his own skin.
How wacky was Week 13 in the NFL? Wacky enough for the Cincinnati Bengals to finally win their first game of the season at the expense of the LA Raiders. Linda Cohn shares with us the other high points of Week 13.
In one swoop, Leon Lett's blunder on Thanksgiving Day altered the standings in the NFC and AFC Eastern Divisions. Sunday in the Meadowlands, Phil Simms rallied the Giants in their final drive. The big play? This 3rd and 16 pass completion to Mark Jackson that kept the drive alive. It set the dramatics for long-range kicker Brad Daloiso.
Good snap, spot. Got the distance, Good!
The Giants came away with a dramatic 19-17 win, but the other story of the game focused on the future of Phoenix head coach Joe Bugel, who now has no mathematical shot to equal the ultimatum of 9 wins given by owner Bill Bidwell, an ultimatum which has since been softened a bit.
Don't keep asking me about that, guys. I keep answering it. I don't care about ultimatums. I want to win. The next week is the Rams. That's all I got on my mind right now. Let me get this game out of my system first.
In Kansas City, it was the return of Joe Montana. You remember him. He was a modest 18 for 32, 208 yards and 2 touchdowns, but most importantly, his hamstring held up.
The leg felt pretty good. Play-wise, so, but, you know, it made it through the game, and at least that'll put some rest to it. I ran there a little bit and was able to move around, and that made me feel a little more confident with it.
With Montana, the Chiefs played inspired ball behind their defense as they held Thurman Thomas to only 25 rushing yards, and they knocked Jim Kelly out of the game with a sprained ankle. The loss also put Buffalo 1 full game behind the leading Dolphins. A bigger loss hit the second-place Denver Broncos. In Denver's 17-9 win, deep threat Vance Johnson broke his leg in the second quarter, and he's going to be out the rest of the year. The Lions received mixed news this past week. The good part of it is that an MRI revealed that Barry Sanders' injured left knee suffered no structural damage, meaning he could be ready as early as in 2 weeks. The bad news is that the Packers rallied to defeat the Bucs 13-10, putting the Lions and Packers in a tie for first in the Central. The AFC Central is also a lot clearer. Sunday night, the Oilers defeated the Steelers 23-3 to take over sole possession of first place. Something not very clear last week, the weather in the Jets-Patriots game in Foxborough. Torrential rainstorms made visibility and scoring almost non-existent. A late Patriot fumble in the 4th sealed a 6-0 win for the Jets.
Back to college football for a moment. The new Associated Press college football poll, the Writers' Poll, has just come out. Florida State is still #1, followed by Nebraska. You see that Auburn and Notre Dame have swapped places. Notre Dame going up to #4, Auburn dropping to #5. Taking a look at 6 through 10, it's Tennessee, Texas A&M, Florida and Wisconsin with their victories on Saturday. They both move up 1 spot. Again, this is the Writers' Poll. When the Coaches' Poll comes out later, we'll bring you that as well as the latest Bowl Coalition poll that will determine the bowl pairings, which we will have for you as soon as that becomes available. Former Washington coach Joe Gibbs says he won't rule out an NFL comeback to coach the future expansion franchise in Charlotte. That surprised many, considering that part of the reason why Gibbs quit after last season was to recuperate from health problems related to stress from the job. Was the price of winning too much for the 3-time Super Bowl coach?
I wanted to be the best that I could be. And I think that's kind of the drive. Now, how close I came to that, I don't know. I think I'll probably have to stand before God someday, and he's going to say, man, you could have won another 30 games there. But you backed off a little bit.
Wonder what his record would have been if he coached the Saints. More from Gibbs in Outside the Lines, Winning and Losing. The latest installment of this Emmy Award-winning show touches on the personal cost of winning and many other topics this Friday, December 10th at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. A bit later here on Sunday Sports Day, we'll tell you how the city of Baltimore is not giving up in its quest to once again be the home of the NFL franchise.
I'm too young not to continue to play basketball, so I'm going to play. I don't care if it's in Wazoo, Oklahoma.
Yeah, right. They're going to split it with me? Sprint announces a whole new reason to switch to the most.
You're telling me that they pick up half the tab on whoever I call the most?
Call anyone, anywhere, anytime, and Sprint will split the bill on the person you call most.
Call right now.
Take advantage of a special introductory offer on Sprint's long-distance calling plan, the Most. For the next 6 months, you'll save 50% on calls to the person you call most each month, no matter how much you spend, and there are no restrictions.
So I can talk to my friend Michelle twice as long, and they'll pay half?
Sprint pays half, you pay half.
Sprint will split the bill on whoever you call most. Not half bad, huh?
Call right now, and Sprint will switch you for free. We'll figure out who you call most each month, and you'll save 50% automatically.
Go ahead, switch me for free. Don't be shy. It was their idea.
Don't wait.
Call 1-800-913-9741 and save 50% with Sprint.
Hockey is governed by 3 laws of motion. 1, bodies in linear motion will continue in a straight path unless acted upon by another force. 2, a direct relationship exists between acceleration and force. 3, for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. Of course, some events fall into the realm of chaos theory, a force best represented as ESPN 2.
They wanted to go to the championship more than really playing against me. Because if I'm with the Lakers, we beat Utah, we beat Phoenix. See, they understand that. So that's all what that was about. And I understand that, and that's fine because, hey, everybody wants to win a championship, and I understand that. But say that more than say you don't want to play against me. That means you're a real man. Come out front with it.
Magic Johnson expressing his view on why many objected to his attempted comeback with the Lakers. Well, if you asked Magic if he could make an NBA comeback, his answer would be yes. Despite being HIV positive, Magic says he feels fine, but he would rather not create a controversy like the last time he attempted a comeback. The question was posed to Magic Wednesday night after he scored 22 points, pulled down 14 rebounds, and dished out 10 assists in a win by his traveling All-Stars over the Hartford Hellcats of the CBA. Mark Schwartz is among those following this latest Magic act.
After winning a high school title, the NCAA crown, 5 NBA championships, and Olympic gold, what's left for Magic Johnson? Would you believe Rockford, Illinois?
I'm too young not to continue to play basketball, so I'm going to play. I don't care if it's in Wazoo, Oklahoma.
Coming to 20 or 30 degrees out of LA where it's 75 right now, you really have to want to play basketball. I think Magic's always dreamed of playing against the CBA.
Oh boy, I think Magic has fulfilled almost all of his dreams on the real level anyway. I don't think he's dreamt about playing against the CBA, no.
I think sometimes people get the wrong idea about this just because I'm playing CBA team, but it's not about that. I just love to play. I play every single day. And so I just wanted some better competition than working out at the local gym or the YMCA.
Number 3, Dion Brown.
The names certainly have changed, but the game is still in his blood, as much as the deadly virus that cost him his NBA career. He's the biggest thing to happen to Rockford since the Stones rocked this arena 11 years ago. For the Tri-City Chinook, the Lightning drew under 900 fans. For Magic, 2 days later, nearly 8,600.
Baby, you the greatest. You the number one. All time.
Cynics may question Johnson's motives. Is this tour a desperate attempt to recapture the spotlight?
It's not because I need the money. It's not because I need the fame or anything. It's because I want to play basketball.
And if I really want the crowd and everything, I would never play the 5 CBA teams. I would just stay in Europe. See, I'm more popular in Europe than I am here.
Still, his teammates express concern about perception.
What do you really have to gain? And no one wants to be a sideshow. Nobody wants to have a great career and go out and damage that career by, you know, let's use a really terrible word, a buffoon in some ways or another. I dread thinking of what would happen if we lost one of the games.
You know, this is Magic Johnson. It's his reputation, our reputation. So we're here to win. We take it very seriously.
A packed house, they're howling, screaming, and want to see me. And I get a big charge out of that.
21 assists. I say he hasn't lost a step.
Some people never get a chance to play against a legend like this, so I'm happy as the happiest man on the field.
Great to be back out here and just having some fun, you know, making some passes, getting the assists, running the team, and my first coaching job.
Victorious in Rockford, the Magic Mystery Tour continues. Coming soon to a CBA town near you. In Rockford, Illinois, I'm Mark Schwartz, ESPN.
Oh, that smile. He is a showman, isn't he? The baddest of the Pistons' bad boys has decided to hang up his gloves and call it quits. More in our Sunday conversation with Bill Lambier in just a bit. Coming up next, could something have been done to prevent Wendell Davis's injury at Veterans Stadium? Many problems on the Eagles' home turf. You'll see for yourself next.
It may be too much to handle. It's Mode 7 rig rotation and bone-crushing checks. It's NHL Stanley Cup hockey, part of the Super NES Sports Network, and it's in a league of its own.
You know, winning a Super Bowl is great, but now I'm winning with Interstate batteries.
And this year, we won the ultimate NASCAR race.
We won the Daytona 500. Interstate has a lightning-fast restocking system. So we had a fresh, powerful battery for a great start and a winning finish. So get the battery that won the Daytona 500. Wherever you see this sign, Interstate Batteries. We check them before you buy them. For fresh power, guaranteed.
It's a timepiece. It's a breath spray. The new Breath Spray 9000.
While some watchmakers brag about their new inventions, Loris creates practical watches like the Vector, a digital compass built into a precision chronograph. Stick with Loris, the only time worth keeping.
This year, you can vote for who gets to play in the Pro Bowl.
And if you luck out, you can score a trip for two to see the game in Hawaii.
Or you could win big with prizes from Radio Shack.
But first, you should vote on who gets to play. Remember, your picks count along with players and coaches, so be sure to vote and go.
Who knows, maybe we'll see you at the game.
Pick up your Pro Bowl vote and go ballot at Radio Shack, NFL stadiums, or in USA Today. Imagine your favorite football players will do anything to get your vote.
This week, Jacksonville joins Charlotte as a new NFL city, but Baltimore still hopes to again have a team in the league. In fact, Baltimore's NFL Expansion Committee has reportedly asked its Skybox and club seat customers to hold off in requesting a refund. The city wants to hold on to their money in hopes of remaining a viable option for an existing team that might want to call Baltimore home. The home of the Philadelphia Eagles could sure use more than a little sprucing up. George Toma, an NFL groundskeeping consultant, recently called the artificial turf there unsafe and that it presents players with unreasonable danger. This week in Philly, they began to take measures to correct the many problems at the vet. Chris Mortensen decided to take a closer look.
Veterans Stadium, known as the Vet, is one of the finest multi-purpose sports facilities in the country.
The Eagles got the worst turf in the league.
It's definitely hazardous.
It is hard as that right there.
You can easily trip over a seam.
Any seams. That goes without being said, you know.
Well, I think it's worse because of the baseball. All right, Rich, we have, this is what, second base right here?
Yeah, we're approaching second base, and you know, the difference in turf is this turf has been worn out where it's a lot smoother, so it doesn't grab as much, and then all of a sudden you get onto this, which is a whole different type of turf after you go through the seam, which sticks out pretty far and you can catch an ankle or a knee here.
It's like a cutout, and it's like a puzzle. You just place the turf right there and covered it up, and now you're ready for football. And you can easily trip over that spot too.
The little pieces that they put down to cover the dirt and the bases, and you know, I've been injured on that one particular area myself.
Let's go to the pitcher's mound.
The difference about this part of the field is the turf, once again, is a lot more worn out here, and you don't catch your ankles so much to speak, and then you get onto the new turf where the pitcher's mound is, but now you're dealing with, it's hollow, so it's a different type. It's almost like a dead spot on, you know, say like a basketball floor where you don't have the same type of padding.
There's rivets, and under the rivets, if you walk around the field, there's plywood under it. When the plywood gets wet, it buckles, so you have an uneven surface. And that's what the receiver hit for Chicago.
In Week 6 at the vet, the Bears' Wendell Davis tore the patella tendons in both knees on the same play.
He really came down awkwardly. I hope he didn't hurt his knee. It just looked like something crumbled, Wayne, when he came down on the turf.
And that's that darn AstroTurf, you know. You get it caught, your heel or something coming down. It doesn't give.
They straightened my legs out, and when I looked down, I saw my kneecaps weren't there, you know, and, you know, that kind of freaked me out a little bit. And the doctors got to moving it around, and they realized that my kneecap had moved up into the thigh area. And all the thing I can remember is just when and my mind was to plant and jump. My feet never left the ground except when they snapped, they left. You know, when the tendon snapped, that's when my legs popped out.
Coincidentally, Davis is a client of the same sports law firm that represented Suns forward Walter Davis when he sued the LA Lakers in the forum for an injury allegedly caused by a faulty playing surface. Tricia Davis, Wendell's wife, is an attorney and is contemplating legal action, especially after reading that the Eagles players had criticized the turf for years.
As a lawyer, what does it tell you?
Well, it tells me that there's obviously a problem there. If, in fact, it's true that they've complained about it in the past, something should have been done and something needs to be done.
I heard about Veterans Stadium from a friend who played there, and he told me about the turf. He told me it was some bad turf, and you know, I really think it was bad as it is. You know, it's pretty bad.
This is here, we're talking about the 4-yard line right here. This
Right, this is, you're still in the field of play, and you got, you know, a huge seam right here that, you know, say you're backpedaling to something, you could literally trip and lose your job that way, you know, by falling down when, you know, you hit a seam or something.
The current Vet Stadium turf was laid down in 1988 and is scheduled to be replaced in 1995. The stadium is owned and operated by the city.
Well, we've always been in favor of a grass field at Vet Stadium. And we're on record with the city of Philadelphia in terms of requesting a grass field.
It just wouldn't be practical. I mean, what would have happened if what had happened up at Penn State 3 or 4 weeks ago when they totally had to resod the field because it got torn up at a football game? What would we have done if we had had a Phillies game the following Monday or Tuesday? It's just not practical. It's not workable.
Our Sunday conversation with Big Bad Bill Laimbeer. Many question his rough tactics.
Do I catch him? And absolutely not. That was Karl Malone.
Savan 100% cotton pants. The only pants in the world made with Process 2000. A special washed-in, no-wrinkle process that never washes out. So your pants never wrinkle, no matter how many times you wash them. No matter how you wear them. Wash them, dry them, wear them. Savan, the original no-wrinkle pants.
This holiday season, more people will trust Napa to keep their vehicles running and to help them save, too. Get this Napa toy truck with real truck sounds, just $16.99. 1994 Chilton repair manuals are a low $13.99 each. And get a 61-piece Evercraft tool set for only $29.99. So drive by or fly by your nearest Napa Auto Parts store today.
We keep America running. We keep America running.
You could hurl yourself into the air, leaving yourself defenseless, sacrificing everything to an 80-mile-per-hour bullet, or you could watch.
Sports Weekly is brought to you by Napa, we keep America running, and by the World of Savan, all cotton pants, no wrinkles, ever.
Last week, Bill Laimbeer retired, and NBA players everywhere said they're going to miss him. Yeah, like a bad cough. For one thing, without him, there's going to be a whole lot more elbow room under the boards. There will be no more chance of rookies hurting themselves, tripping over his body under the net. And no more opportunities for some other Piston to break a hand hitting him upside the head. Laimbeer brought something special to the court. The paramedics.
But now those days are over. And many players around the league would love to send him off in something to remember them by. A full body cast.
Lambier was indeed the NBA's most hated player, but it was a role he seemed to relish. When he retired Wednesday, Lambier said he could not tolerate players who were not mentally prepared, nor players who did not dedicate themselves to the game. When he became one of those players, Lambier said it was time to lead the game. Because for Bill Lambier, it wasn't the game he loved so much, but rather the competition. He talked with our Dan Patrick.
I don't like basketball, playing the game of basketball hurts. I like the competition mentally of finding a way to win the game and get 5 or 12 guys on the same page working together. That's fun. But playing the game and going out there running up and down, banging bodies hurts, and that's no fun. That was my greatest asset in my job, was players were looking out for me through hype. By you guys helped tremendously.
Now we're your friend.
Oh no, you were my tool to advance my job. I was able to use what you were writing about me, what people were reading about me, to my advantage, because other players didn't know how to play that style of play. And once they tried to change their game to combat me, they're beat. That's an advantage for our ball club.
Did you have to hate your opponent? And hate's a strong word.
Hate's a real strong word.
Dislike.
Yes.
You had to.
Yes. It motivates you to do things on the court that you might not do. I was never able to distinguish between the friendship, playing against them aspect of it. And whether that's a fault of mine, I don't know. I think it's a plus for my competitiveness to succeed in my job. It was a trapping situation where I was trapping down and Karl Malone went to shoot a layup. So I was going to swing for the ball, and I swung for the ball, and I missed, and I caught his head inside my elbow here, okay? Now, at that point, the only conscious decision was, do I catch him? And absolutely not. That was Karl Malone. That I hit him was an accident. And I went through my mind, hold him, you won't get a flagrant foul. But as Karl Malone, I wasn't going to do that.
But it had nothing to do with Karl's foul on Isaiah a couple of years ago.
Absolutely not. Like I said, I don't lie. I just said it, absolutely not. That it happened that way, I can look back on it now and say, well, that's okay, because of what he did.
You would read comments. You would hear these guys saying, I hate Lambier, and get him out, he's a jerk. But did you say to yourself, if they only understood what I am and what I need to give?
No, I never said that, because I didn't really need their friendship or whatever they wanted.
You want respect, though. Everybody wants respect.
Everybody would like that, yes.
So you would love to have Michael Jordan say, I want Bill Lambier on my team. You would want Larry Bird to say, he plays the game the way I play the game.
I don't have to have them say that, because I know that. The style of player that I am and the way I approach my job, if they didn't want me to be a player on their team, then they don't know anything about basketball.
Do you have a favorite moment in your career that you're always going to look back on, and whether it brings a smile to your face or just a great memory or whatever?
The thing I'll probably remember the most was losing to the Lakers in the finals the first time. And after the game, Isaiah and I went over and we took some bottles of champagne from the Lakers locker room and came back, and I sat down on the floor of the shower with the shower running over me, drinking my champagne, crying, because I knew the mental torture it took to get to that point, and to come up empty was one of the hardest things ever that I had to endure, because I was mentally exhausted and it just didn't get the job done.
We will remember Lambier most for being such a fierce competitor. Also a fierce competition in the final of the Davis Cup between Germany and Australia. Michael Stich has defeated Richard Fromberg in straight sets, so Germany claims its third Davis Cup title. Goldner and Stoltenberg engaged right now in a meaningless match. Germany wins the Davis Cup 3-1.